podcast.
Bring your friends!
And we're live on the Rico podcast.
Yes, and we have a wonderful guest with us today.
Danny Duckworth, man,
Yeah.
from Texas?
Yeah, Houston, Texas.
Houston,
Owner of,
my man.
Mhm.
I heard about you through Danny Gonzalez.
Danny Gonzalez.
You probably don't remember him. He's visited your gym and he spoke very, very well of you, and you were super nice to him and whatnot. It was months ago because I've had you on my list for a while.
Yeah, but
Oh,
let him
interesting.
himself and
Oh,
know everything.
Danny, for everybody that doesn't know what you do, who you are, could you introduce yourself, brother?
Yeah, I am the owner of Alliance BJJ Houston, as well as some other companies, and been doing jiu-jitsu since 2005. Been a black belt for 5 years now under got my black belt under Raul Jimenez under Alliance. I've been under Alliance since 2014, I want to say it is. And I've had many professors actually enter this realm. I'm trained in Japanese jiu-jitsu for 4 or 5 years prior to that. So all I know is jiu-jitsu, to be fair, but I have different aspects of jiu-jitsu under my lineage on there. And so competition, business owner, ran gyms, instructors, and now I'm kind of moving more into the leadership role now that I'm coming up to 45 years old. It's a little different ball game now with our body and our age. So that's kind of the transition I'm in at the moment in my life through the last, how long have I been training? 16 years, something like that. Going on 17.
Damn.
So what got you started in it?
I got started because I was fat. To be fair.
My man.
Yeah, that's right. I
So
was
Jenny Craig just
fat and
didn't
happy.
So Jenny Craig didn't cut it, huh?
Yeah.
No, you know what's funny? It was one day I think my daughter was 1 or 2 years old, and I was at Blockbuster. Just totally fucking dates me. And I ran into an old friend of mine, and he used to be a male stripper. So he was jacked up, but not when I saw him. He was fat too. And I was like, hey. He's like, hey. I was like, you don't look the same. He's like, neither do you. And so we started working out together, I think that following week. And then as we're working out, it was just kind of, man, I've always wanted to do martial arts. He said, oh, a good friend of mine is a black belt in judo, black belt in Japanese. We can go and train in his garage. So we would drive an hour to his garage on Fridays, start training. And that lasted about 3 months. I mean, it trained longer, but about 3 months, we're like, we got to find a closer place. This is a long drive. So we ended up finding another gym closer, and we would still go to both, but during the week went to one closer, and the weekend went to his buddies. And we did that for about 3 years. And then after about 3 years, one of the, in Japanese, they call them senseis, not professors. So the sensei at that time moved his location about 15 miles south. I just happened to be moving to the same area at the same time. So I followed him, and then he ended up renting mats from a BJJ gym. So we were doing Japanese jiu-jitsu in a BJJ gym at the time. And so I'd stay over and kind of watch. And I was thinking, man, I can go hard, because Japanese, you don't really go hard. You have randori, more judo base, but there's no like full grappling per se. So I'd watch him grapple.
So I got to ask you, what are the main differences that you yourself have noticed between Japanese and Brazilian jiu-jitsu?
It is more focused on key locks. It's takedowns, wrist locks. I mean, there's different styles of Japanese jiu-jitsu. Mine was Aikido Budokai, so it was more Aikido Judo is what it was. They had a little bit of Newaza, but it was more kind of in and out situation, more self-defense oriented. To be fair, most of the techniques that I learned, if you watch the original Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, it's the same techniques.
You're talking about from the Gracie Bible, like the old moves of them. Yep. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's the exact same. There's no difference on them. When you saw them like teach their kids, it was the exact same moves.
That's pretty cool. I've never met somebody that did Japanese jiu-jitsu first, because I started in 2012. I started. Okay. So no, 2013. I'm sorry.
Japanese though.
No, I started out with combatives from the military.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a guy that was a purple belt in 2008. He's a black belt now, Jason Powell. And while we were in Iraq, he was training his guys one day, and he choked everybody in the platoon in under a minute. And I was like, what the fuck is that? Whatever that is, I want to learn it.
Yeah.
And from there, I was like hooked. I was like, I gotta see this. To the point that it's like when ADCC rolls around, it's like the Olympics for
yeah.
jujitsu people. Yeah, for the people that don't understand, um, how would you describe ADCC? I think that it's like the Olympics of jujitsu, I would say, because it gets wild, especially these
Well, for
last like,
no-gi, for sure.
for no-gi, for no-gi. Yeah, for no-gi. In the gi, I guess we have Worlds.
Yeah, it's gonna be Worlds, IBJJF
World.
Worlds.
Yeah,
That's pretty much your two biggest ones. It's IBJJF for your gi, and then ADCC for no gi.
but Masters has been getting wild though.
I love Masters, man.
Bro.
That's my
Like
favorite tournament.
Bruno, you got Bruno now. He's in his 30s. Kyle's in his 30s.
Malfacini?
Bruno's in his 30s.
Yeah, but he ain't
Yeah,
doing
Bruno
no shit.
Malfacini. You train with Bruno?
Oh yeah. I'm friends with him. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
dope. Him,
So
him and
what-
Kyle have
what
a
do you
big
prefer,
rivalry.
The gi or no gi?
What was the question?
What do you prefer, the gi or the no gi?
Oh,
That's a good-
definitely gi. Definitely gi. I think gi is as you get older,
Mhm.
gi pound. No gi, it's I'm just explaining why I don't like no gi. It's a slipperier game. It requires a lot more endurance. And to me, I don't like playing top in no gi because when the mats get really soaked, your knees start getting slippy. You could throw a knee out pretty easy. So I'm not comfortable a lot in that position. So I'll play on my back in no gi. Whereas in gi, I can play top, bottom, sweep. I can move. There's a lot more grips, compression, stuff going on. I can slow the game down, which is more, to me, it's built for more an older person. We like to slow that game down and do a battle of inches. In no gi, it's a little more fluid, a little more active. People can slip out of stuff a lot easier. So there's just a lot of differences on it.
You
Okay.
can grease up.
Apparently.
I'm not. Hold on, Danny. I'm not
saying anything.
We are not saying that anybody greased or is greasing. We're just saying that people can grease up before a match.
You have to moisturize. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, sure. You can.
You know what? I'm curious on that. I don't know if you remember back in the UFC, they were saying that there was a technique people were doing where they were bathing in oil the night before, and it'll soak into the skin.
It'll
So when
soak
you
into
sweat,
yes.
and then it
Yeah.
comes out. I'm curious if maybe that's what's happening because it's hard to detect that, I assume.
Well, yeah, but in wrestling, people did that too. Like I remember in the WWF or WWE, there was that was a controversy.
Yeah.
At one point, and somebody got fired, if I recall correctly, for greasing or lubing, because it's had different names. I've heard greasing, lubing, oiling up. I've heard different terms. It's all the same. You basically utilize something that goes on your skin, so that way when I grab you, I can't make a grip. It just slides.
Yeah, because they're putting on a no spoiler alerts here, but they're putting on a show.
No. I understand that, but there was still certain rules of certain things that you couldn't be done.
Somebody who didn't want to,
they didn't. Yeah.
Like, you're supposed to lose the title. It's like, I'm not losing the title. So they would.
So I'm just gonna grease it. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I don't.
What would.
Yeah, but in jujitsu no-gi, there was a little bit of controversy with a recent fight where it was Pena versus
Nikki Rod.
Nikki, that alleged, and Gordon Ryan had said before, it feels like when he grabbed him that he was greased up.
Yeah.
And then Pena made fun of him and everybody made fun of him. And then this last weekend we saw him get out of dude, he had him in a normal plata at one point. And he rolled and came up immediately, smooth as shit. And I was like,
Yeah, I'd have to rewatch that because omoplata, to me, the control of the elbow is key, and that'll prevent the slip out. I don't know if he had control of the elbow or not, so I can't say one way or another if the grease was potential grease.
Yeah, potential.
It's all alleged.
I don't want them fucking looking at me.
The last thing I need is I get an email from Ricky from Team B or something, or B team, and they're like, "We'd love to talk with you." It's like, all right then.
Yeah.
They're in Puerto Rico too, I think.
No, Austin.
Oh, they came back to Austin?
They've been in Austin.
I thought they were in Puerto Rico.
So what was it that they were doing in Puerto Rico?
No. That before they split, the whole team, the Donner Death Squad was in Puerto Rico, and then they all moved to Austin.
Oh, okay. See, that goes to show you how much I track the politics of it. I just watch the fucking matches.
Yeah, Austin blew up during the pandemic because when they came there, Not only them came there, the Hibero came there. You have some really big names in Austin. I mean, Texas is might be one of the mecca of jiu-jitsus right now.
Well, it's also the mecca of comedy too right now.
Oh yeah.
With Joe Rogan. Yeah, it certainly helps.
Well, it's not only Joe Rogan, dude, all the comedy clubs that are putting up like killers up there, dude.
Ron
Like,
White's down. Ron White's
Ron
actually
White, yeah,
from
Ron
there.
White's doing
Yeah.
doing a lot of shows there and whatnot. But Austin has blown up, and so does Houston, dude. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
Houston
No,
has
absolutely
solid fucking jujitsu places and also solid comedy places,
Oh yeah.
which is a weird combination to see. In I know you're a little older than us, but like, did you ever think that those two things would combine like that?
No, obviously that's a Joe Rogan deal, in my opinion. Joe Rogan is the one that united those two industries together. Comedy's always been a big deal in Houston. Sam Kinison, Ralphie May. Actually, Ralphie May taught my driver's ed course when I was young. So
Wait,
comedy defensive driving 90s.
yeah, you
Ralphie May
can't
was my
Comedy
instructor.
defensive
yeah, you
driving,
can't
yeah.
throw a comment like that and not explain that. Like, you gotta elaborate on
I
that
can't
story.
explain. I
Yeah.
can't imagine.
It's a
Ralph-
pretty cool story if I remember correctly.
Okay.
You're talking about in my teens. But
Uh-huh.
Ralphie May, the reason why he was so big, he got hit by a drunk driver. And so that was a way for him giving back to the community. Defensive driving, that's what he explained to us in a defensive driving course. And it was actually at a comedy venue. We went there and it was 6 hours or whatever. And he's the guy that ran the deal and take your driver's ed, course, or whatever. But he was your guy. He's the one that taught you everything and gave you his backstory and why it's important to pay attention. Because according to what he was saying, he got hit by a drunk driver, it messed up something in his body, and that's when he added all that weight on. And so that was kind of his give back to the community.
Wow. See,
Did
I
he
wasn't
tell
aware of
jokes?
that at
Was he
all.
like
Fuck yeah, he
cracking
did. Yeah,
jokes?
it's one of my favorite comedians. Yeah, absolutely. He told jokes. It was awesome. I think I took it twice. Got a lot of tickets.
He's like, wait a minute, I get to spend 6 hours at Ralphie May
Yeah.
for how much?
And he was unknown at the time. This was in
Imagine.
96.
Could you imagine if that
Oh,
dude was
so
still
this was-
around?
Yeah, this was before Last Comic Standing.
Yeah, absolutely. It was. Yep.
He was on that twice, I think. What's
Yeah.
the Last Comic Standing?
He was on it twice.
He
Yeah.
got beat by Dak Fan.
Oh,
Um,
Jack.
Hold on,
I
I'll
can't
pull it
remember
up.
what
you
his
don't
name-
you don't remember that. It was the first one. I think it was at the first series, second series, or something.
Well,
What
it
was
was,
the name of
uh,
it? Comedy?
Zach-
Comedy what? Ralphie May comedy.
It was Last Comic.
Last comic
Standing.
standing.
Where Josh Blue won? The one Josh won?
Yeah,
Josh Blue was also in.
he was
Last-
later on. I think Ralphie may have been the first series.
Yeah, he was like the second season. I think
he got
it was.
second. I know that he was in the finals.
Yeah, yeah.
Dak Fan. I want to say it was Dak Fan or something.
Last comic standing. Oh, it's just about his death. I don't want to see that. I just want to see final. Okay. Here it is. Final appearance. Oh, nope. Nothing.
No,
Because
that's not it.
what being
You
like
see,
today.
just look who won episode or series, season 1 or whatever it is.
You know what? That's a great way to look at it. Last comic
Yeah.
standing. Our
He was
friend
better.
Josh Blue, he won that a while back, and now
Yeah.
he also got third on America's Got Talent.
Yeah, which is extraordinary for
Yeah,
a comic.
for a
to get
Oh,
comic, bro.
third.
Dat Fan is his name. And that was in 2003. You guys
man,
are slow.
Remember him now?
Yeah, Jesus. Well, I gotta buy all these. Man. I gotta start going back to these.
He was actually a jiu-jitsu guy too, Dat Fan.
Was he?
Was he really?
Yeah, well, he was into martial arts because whenever you seen him in the Last Comic Standing, he's out in the back meditating, and then he's doing like the Tai Chi moves out there and stuff. And then
That's 100% not jujitsu. Don't try to Steven Seagal your way
no,
into this.
I said martial arts. I didn't mean
You-
jiu-jitsu.
You know what? You
arts.
did martial arts. You did say martial arts. I'll give you that one.
Okay.
Josh Blue won season 4.
And then
Josh's foot. Have you seen his new thing?
Not lately, no.
no.
Josh is so fucking funny, dude.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's so, and he speaks so many fucking languages too. It's not even fair.
Really?
Yeah, Josh speaks English, French, Spanish. Fuck. And there was another one because his parents were he like toured all over the world. I think they were Mormons or something. I can't remember.
No, they were mercenary or not mercenary.
Stone Cold Killers, bro.
I'm texting him
Yeah.
saying you said his parents were mercenaries.
Missionaries is what I
texting
meant, not
him.
They had
mercenaries.
contracts.
So
That's
he
how he.
knows all these
that's
languages
how-
and he can kill people.
That's
so,
how he got cerebral palsy. Is his parents were killing somebody and they came at him.
I didn't
and-
want to go
Yeah.
there with that joke, but it was in my head.
No, I'm friends with Josh. Like I've texted Josh,
Yeah,
and
but I'm not.
don't worry. I'll text him, be like, Josh, I had a guest that told us that your parents were mercenaries, and that's why you know so many languages. Because secretly you're just faking it, and you're like gonna fuck us up or something.
You're a secret assassin.
You're a
is what
secret assassin, bro. But that would be the person that you like wouldn't believe. Like that dude's not gonna kill me, and all of a sudden he like stand up straight and just snaps your neck, and
Yeah.
like
Besides, their coasts him. Yeah.
Well, wasn't that guy from the Gong Show a CIA operative or something like that?
ooh, that's an Eric question.
You talking about
There was a movie based off of it, based on the truth of it.
yeah, it's an unknown comic.
Is it?
Yeah, he was on the Gong Show. I don't know how many
He
times.
was the host.
Oh, the host.
I want to say the host when the host was working for the government and he was using that show to get in.
Oh, the unknown
Something like
comic. Okay, the unknown comic. Okay, I said carrot. Jesus.
Yeah. Everybody knows the character.
Oh, the guy with the paper. Okay, I know what you're talking
the
about
paper
now.
bag on his
Yeah,
head.
yeah, yeah. I thought you were talking about the robot guy.
No, no.
Okay, that's what I thought
No,
you
no,
you
not
two
the-
were talking about, like the guy who does the stand up as like as a robot.
No, no,
Okay.
no, not him. No, I don't even know who that is.
I'll bring it up later. It's somebody who don't worry about it. It's another secret assassin that
Another
his
secret
parents are
assassin,
mercenaries.
yeah.
They're everywhere. Everybody's a mercenary.
But that's who you would want to be an assassin, though, wouldn't you? You train him up in jujitsu, make him funny so he can wiggle his way out of any
No,
conversation.
I'm thinking, you know how James Bond had all those neat little gadgets? What if you were in a wheelchair? How many gadgets could you put in that?
Ooh,
And you could take it on any plane you wanted to.
that's true. That's true. You could hide like a bunch of pills
Well,
and stuff.
do they let you on using your own wheelchair?
I would think they would.
You've traveled lately more than I have.
No, because then you're going to have to get somebody's going to have to take you out of your wheelchair and put you in the
Bro, but what would you
airport
put?
wheelchair.
what
Who's
the
going to do
fuck?
that?
But what would you put in a wheelchair that would? Damn it, Danny! You entertained it, and now
I'm just saying, if the hand thing came off and turned into a barrel,
Jesus fuck.
you know,
Here we
and
go.
maybe at the bottom there was maybe a handle with a trigger with some bullets there.
It's
I mean,
definitely more powerful than a
no.
shoe bomb.
I mean, you can make a gun, turn a cane into a gun. I mean,
you can make a phone into a gun. I've seen
that's
that.
true. Yeah, I've seen they even have a knife as a gun. You seen that?
Dude, I'd rather deal with a gun than with a knife.
I'd rather have a gun knife. Like, he thinks I'm going to stab him, but I just shoot him.
You ever
instead.
seen
That's
you
why,
ever
boom.
seen those little gadgets attachments that they put for like handguns? Like one of them is like a little spear that can actually puncture and shit like that. The other one's like
the little crossbow? I
the
seen that one.
crossbow. Yeah. That's what this motherfucker collects probably.
Oh,
Like
yeah, of course I do.
Eric's like, not only am I gonna
Little
shoot
ninja weapons.
Yeah, I got a
ninjas,
ninja star.
I'll tell you this right now, ninjas weren't real, my man. Blow
Weren't?
your right now.
Yeah,
Yes,
you don't-
we had a samurai historian on the podcast that
Mhm.
that said that. He
They're
is the-
not real.
they were
They're
not
not.
real.
It was a con
what was
job.
it? It was a con job from a dude that said, go ahead, you remember this better than me.
Well, see, they were trying to get the
Money from
guys
the-
that were
the
in charge
shoguns.
of the
Yeah.
I forget what they called them. They were the lords and
The shoguns, the shoguns.
the shoguns, and you
Yeah.
get a certain amount of money for your village for this or that or whatever. So they said, here's all these secret ninja stuff. And they looked at it and it's like, this stuff's been around hundreds of years. And he goes, no, but they can walk on lily pads. It's like, nobody can do that. And it's like, and all this other stuff. And they just kept trying to promote it. And they're like, no, you guys are full of it. And for some reason, it just caught on. And the reason they couldn't prove it because it was so secret. Ninjas were secret. And
We-
that's why.
We had him on the show. His name's Michael Word, which shout
Yeah.
out to Michael. We're having him back soon. And I was like, immediately, I asked him the ninja question, and he had been waiting for it. He goes, I knew you were going to ask because you're an
My
anime.
moment to shine.
Yeah. And he goes, they weren't real. But he goes, but I will tell you this, samurai pirates were a thing. And I was like, what? Because when they invaded Korea at that time, they got all the way to what is known up to Seoul, which I don't know if you've seen Korea, but that's pretty fucking in. Like that's pretty fucking in to get to Seoul. Yeah, that's the capital. Like that's pretty far in. And they just murdered a bunch of Koreans, and then you read the history. But yeah, dude, samurai pirates. Could you imagine that, bro? Not only can we do jujitsu, we can stab you and then shoot swords at you from a cannon. Like,
so interesting, samurai. My Japanese was based on samurai training. All the mechanics are based on samurais, and so when I teach, I use samurai principles on there. In my opinion, jiu-jitsu came from samurais. The original.
Interesting.
I know that they had to have they had the ippon. Like one of the things that Michael was talking about is like they had like moves or like if you couldn't draw your sword, like you had to be able to create enough space for you to draw. So they had like
even their battles are based on sword play.
Oh wow. Interesting.
It's called Zare, and it's different types of bow, but it's always the swords on the left. When you get on your knees, you always look at your forward, and then your left hand goes to the sword first, right hand down, bow, eyes up, right hand off, up, right foot up first. Everything has to do with the sword. Even on your judo, and when I teach judo, I teach sheathe the sword. You're grabbing the arm or lapel, and you're putting the sword back into the sheath. That is the correct rotation of the hip.
I like that.
That's a good analogy to explain it. I think that would sell me right there. Because like I normally just explain it like I would do it to like a kid. Like just pretend that somebody threw something at you and you just want to dodge it. Like you just
is that
yeah. It's like I don't understand.
Dodge a wrench.
I go just bend over as if your parents threw something at you and you want to avoid it. And then you see the kid judo throw and you're like, oh, okay, I get it. Like, yeah, like you know how it is with kids, man. Like teaching kids is something different.
Oh, definitely.
Do you encounter that a lot as a business owner?
I teach my kids program right now. Yeah.
How many kiddos you have, if you don't mind me asking?
Like 70. I'm a 70-30. I'm 70% adults, 30% kids. The thing here's my math on there. My kids, it's 1 hour a day. So I have one class a day dedicated to kids. And then I have, I don't know, 6 or 7 classes a day dedicated to adults. Some gyms go
private lessons in between.
What's that?
I'm assuming private lessons in between that too.
For adults, yeah, I don't do a whole lot for privates. I'm not right now. I'm working on changing that kids program a little bit because it is a moneymaker, but man, it is just different to me. I like developing the kids. I don't like the concept that I can't teach jiu-jitsu like I want to teach it because they're developmental stages. You have to break it down into games. You got to break it down into a different system. You can't explain it in high details. I'm a very detail-oriented instructor. So when you remove that from me, it bothers me, So my juniors, which is like A plus, I train them like adults. I mean, they learn high detail stuff, but below that, they're just not mentally there to do so.
Well, how'd you get into the teaching, starting your own business with the jiu-jitsu?
I feel like everyone that starts training jiu-jitsu, they all want to own a gym for one reason or another. I think most people don't really understand what that entails. They just want to be an instructor and they want to live doing jiu-jitsu. I think that's their primary goal in the very beginning. And they don't realize how much work goes into being a successful gym. And it's not about being jiu-jitsu anymore. It's about being a business owner. And if you don't have any want or need or passion to be a business owner, do not go that route because it will drain you. It'll ruin your marriage. It'll ruin all kinds of stuff because it's just different. And the way I tell people is like, oh, you want to be this guy, in this role, then just be a head instructor. Just get paid doing it. Because once you go to the other realm, it takes away from your jiu-jitsu. There's so much more time put into the business than it is the training on there. So back to your question. How did I get to that moment? Just like anyone else, I wanted to be in that leadership role. I wanted to educate what I've known to people. And so I put myself in that position to own a gym. And it was a really weird story. The gym I was training at, it burnt down. And while I was out of town, I was a health consultant for about 15 years. And while I was out of town doing some work, the gym burnt down. Came back in town, said, hey, well, let me help you open up a new facility. I'll be an investor. And then through the negotiations, the guy at the time said, well, I tell you what, you open it up, you assume my students, I'm going to move. I was thinking, okay, that's not what I was thinking, but fuck it. If it's an opportunity, let me just see where it goes. End up opening up my own facility and hiring instructors to come in and kind of guide me along the process. And and that was in 2015 when I did that. And then that's at the point when I realized, okay, this is more than just martial arts. And so I had to learn how to be a business owner. So the first thing I did is I hired a business consultant from day one. And I've been with business consulting for the last 7 years, learning how to be an owner and run the systems and do everything right on the back end. So I don't know if necessarily that answered your question, because again, it's just one of those opportunity came, and I sat back and asked myself, okay, what is required to be successful? I don't want to burn out, because that's what's going to happen. You're going to burn yourself out if you're running all the classes in your business and being a program director, running your sales, running your marketing, running your taxes. I mean, it's many, many hats that you have to put on, and it's going to destroy your life in many ways. So you have to learn how to hire staff, train the staff, be a owner, be a leader, be a boss. And some people are not comfortable being a boss setting. Some people get a little egotistical when they get in there. So I had to treat it like martial arts. And if I want to be good at it, I need to have a coach. And that's kind of how I went that direction. So it was just an opportunity that I wasn't expecting, but I didn't want to waste it. And it kind of put me in this position. But if I didn't take the steps to hire professionals to lead me, I wouldn't be where I'm sitting today for sure.
Have you ever heard of a little organization called 1 Million Cups?
Heard of 2 cups.
That
To answer your question, no.
That is completely.
Gotcha.
God, I got transported to high school now. Oh God. That video. Oh God. No, there's a damn it, Danny. There's an organization called 1 Million Cups, and there's one in Houston, I believe. I could be wrong, but I'm 90% sure. And it's basically like a bunch of business owners getting together, and like someone does a presentation on their business and people give them advice and networking. And you might be like, I've been in networking events. Like, this is nothing like that, dude. I've presented in a bunch of them, and the mountains of information that I have, there's some stuff that I'm starting to use now as a business owner. And it's every Wednesday at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., I'm sorry, universally. Like, it is by the Kaufman Foundation, the Kaufman family in Kansas City. They invented it. And dude, there's one here, and I go to every Wednesday. And the amount of knowledge, dude, that you have, like, you have CEOs, millionaires, you have government officials sitting in there. Like, it's free information.
Yeah.
And people just sit down. They just, hey man, I got this issue on my business. You know, how do you run? Hey man, so and so might have the answer to that. That's how it is here. I can't attest for how the others are, but I presented in Florida, in Texas, in Dallas, all over Texas, Reno. I presented all over, and it's a really good organization, and there's a lot of knowledge in it too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
A lot of it, dude. I highly recommend anybody. I feel like that's a pitching for 1 Million Cups, which
it sounds
pretty
cool.
I already made a note. I'm going to look at it as soon as we're done.
Dude, yeah. And you should present, like, because they always need presenters. Always need presenters. It's literally 1 Million Cups. And it's like, literally. I think the song is like keeping entrepreneurs caffeinated. Like, dude, I did a comedy set at their like yearly thing.
It was an annual get together for
the annual get together for
them.
There was like 250 plus people, and I did 3 minutes, and they were like, hey, nothing too crazy, blah blah blah. And my opening joke was, 1 Million Cups, man, is like the first time I heard about this organization, I thought it was just a substitute for cocaine. And like, everybody was like, the owner looks at me, and I'm like, you said no dirty jokes. That's not a dirty joke. That's just reality.
Yeah, it's a drug joke.
That's a drug.
It's a drug judge. Depending on the state, could be legal. That's all I'm saying.
Nah, that's Oregon, bro.
That's
Texas
right.
is behind on the times, bro. What's up with Texas, man? What they gonna like? Missouri just finally legalized recreational.
Yeah.
Man, I own a
Colorado's
pot
good, too.
farm in Oregon. And it sucks because I have a business there that I'm actually shutting down because it kind of got raided by big money. And then
Oh.
I'm over here down here where like the business I run up there is completely illegal.
Dude, and
down
that's like the
here,
big problem that a lot of people have transporting pot. That if Texas was to come on board, at least this is what I've heard from people who are, because one of our sponsors is Bloom Medicinals.
Mm-hmm.
It's a dispensary that they're all over. Their headquarters is in Colorado. And if you go to Bloom Medicinals, tell them that Rico and Eric or the Rico podcast sent you.
Yeah.
So
Definitely tell them that.
one of the things I was talking to them is like, man, if Texas would just open up, it would that highway right there, dude, it would avoid so many problems.
Oh yeah.
But if you get caught in Texas, bro, they do not give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like colonial times, like shit. Like
It depends on if you get caught in the city or outside the city.
how so?
Well, technically, so in Houston, Dallas, Austin, it's legal, illegal, right?
Okay. I see what you mean. I'm following. Keep going.
I got you.
Yeah.
But outside the city, you're dealing with cowboy cops.
Mm-hmm.
It's never legal, and they want that hype. They want that news article that we busted so much of this and that. Houston's different. So Houston, you get busted with pot. If the cop cares, they'll write you a misdemeanor ticket. You take a drug course, and that's it. You don't go to jail unless you're an asshole to the cop. And in Austin, I mean, you can pretty much have weed on you in Austin. So again, it kind of depends on where you get popped.
The governor,
Yeah.
the mayor of Austin is Joe Rogan. I don't give a fuck what anybody.
It seems like it.
Like, get the
He
fuck
needs to
out of
be.
here.
Yeah.
Think about it. What the fuck you gonna do? You got caught apart in Austin. Joe Rogan's gonna be like, man, stop the madness. Just, you know what I'm saying? Like, dude, that guy needs to run for mayor or something. Could you? I can't. Let me not throw that out there.
No,
Let me not.
He wouldn't do that.
You said no politics.
I know.
I specifically remember that in your rule.
But
Yeah,
could you
what the hell?
imagine? Listen, dude, this is the only thing that I'll say about politics. I think that we need Tim Kennedy as vice president, Jocko Willing as president, and then Ben Shapiro as the head of the Justice Department, and then Joe Rogan as governor of Texas. Think about all the money.
Not mad at it.
Think about all the jujitsu, Danny. All the jujitsu in the schools, bro.
Yeah, they would definitely make it mandatory.
You think so? It's like that in Middle East. Jiu-jitsu all in their culture, all in their schools.
In Korea and in Japan, they all have to take. I know in Korea they took Taekwondo, and there was another one, but you could take John Franco, I believe, and I could be wrong. If I am, John, don't kill me. They were working on putting jujitsu like in the schools and stuff like that, which I don't understand how that's not a thing, Danny. And you've been around jujitsu longer than I have. Like, how the fuck are we not teaching this shit in schools, bro?
I can tell you a couple of reasons. I've dealt with some of the school systems. I do believe in San Diego that it is in some school systems, from what I was told. One, it's a liability. They're afraid of injuries and all this other bullshit. Two, there's no scholarships for college, so they have very little incentives to do so.
Well,
But
okay.
they're
Money.
worried.
It's money.
I can see why in San Francisco. Obviously, you have Atos. Is Alliance headquarters? Correct me if I'm wrong, sir. Is Alliance headquarters?
No, so technically, so when you go to headquarters in Alliance, you have each country. So they just opened one up in London. They're about to open up in London. And they have a different name for it now. It's called it's basically a headquarters, but they're giving it a different name. They're opening up a new one in Sao Paulo, which is going to be different than Fabio's gym. And in America, it's Atlanta, which is the old Jacare gym. Now it's ran by Leo Nagaro.
Jacare, bro. That was talk about someone who could fight his demons, but at the same time, he could fuck you up by just looking at you, dude. Just
Are you talking about the right Jacare? Because there's a couple Jacares.
Okay.
Romero Cavalcante is the Jacare that owns Alliance. You may be thinking of the Jacare
No,
of UFC.
Not him, the UFC. Yeah, the one who had
Yeah.
the substance problem.
Yeah, no, that's not the guy that runs
Yeah,
I
Alliance.
know who you're talking
different
about
one,
now.
different
Yeah,
one,
yeah.
different one, different
Yeah,
one.
he did had demons.
Yeah, it was man. when you see-
Today, I think, is the one with the most demons, and he came from Alliance.
I think it was Terere. I think it was Terere. Hold on, let me pull it up. I've seen matches with him and Marcelo.
Did you show me that one?
I-
I think
have-
that is Jacare who you're referring to. I don't know if it's today. Maybe. I'm not that great on history. You know?
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to foreign names, it just doesn't lock in there.
My name when I used to compete, I'd always put my full name, Ricardo Abdel Avilas Avilas.
So they think you're what, Brazilian or something?
And I would walk up, obrigados. Oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
Trying to
Porrada!
and just don't speak any English whatsoever.
I eat
You
Kit
know?
Kats too. I just eat Kit Kats.
At least one Kit Kat.
I've told that story. I had Christina Barlan on the podcast,
Mhm.
and she told that story too. And she's like, "Man, he remembers." I said, "He ain't gonna do shit. He don't listen to the show." And then it turns out that like there's like 10 or 12 people at the gym that listen to the podcast, and they were like, "Hey, is that story true?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about? ¿Qué? Huh?
Yeah.
It's
Huh?"
communication issues.
Yeah, that's the beauty of being bilingual, bro.
Like there's lag. We're face to face.
There's
What are you
lag.
talking about?
I like that. There's a lag. I
There's a
like
lag.
that. That's how you get away with shit, bro. It's like, sir, what's all this cocaine doing in here? No hablo.
That's right.
You laugh, dude, but I was talking.
Mediceno.
Huh?
Mediceno.
That's
Mira, mira.
Yeah.
I was teaching I was teaching a class one time to these interpreters, and somebody was like, "Yeah, man, but how often do people get away with like playing the language barrier?" I go, "I'm glad you asked." There was a case in California where the cop used he used Google Translate to read someone their Miranda rights.
okay.
Not
Is
a
that
good
legal? That's legal, right?
No, no, it's not.
Danny, you're
No.
doing so well. Come on, don't give me an answer, bro. It's illegal as
No.
fuck, bro. Illegal.
You can't read it in a different language.
You can't. You cannot translate Miranda rights in a different language. There is a specific card that the Department of Homeland Security has issued that has the Miranda rights, and that is what you are supposed to use by law. Because if
In
not,
English.
anything. No, it's in Spanish. It's in Spanish. It's the correct translation that they want. Because the problem is if you go to court and you say translate Miranda rights and you speak a different dialect, right? It doesn't
Mhm.
translate the same.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Homeland Security has a card. I know this. And this dude just put on Google Translate the Miranda rights, and he had like cocaine in the car. He had a bunch of weed, had methamphetamines. He sued the department and won.
Because I think at the end it's like, do you oblo these rights?
You,
I
yeah,
just...
no. It wasn't. You understand, motherfucker? I see what you did. That took me a second. You dick. Do you understand these right? And the dude got a good attorney, bro. And the attorney's like, my man, we need all that cocaine back.
That's right.
property.
Private property, bro. I wish someday, man.
And you put down 2 kilos, it was 5. It was 5.
It was
Cinco.
fine.
Cinco.
No, all of a sudden he speaks English now.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Do you know how many? Dude, I had that happen to me one time. I went to the courthouse one time for a dude that I had interpreted in court for. And the dude says, he goes, man, he's like, the problem was the interpreter. Like the interpreter was the problem. And I'm like, just staring at him and like interpreting what he's saying. And the judge goes, but it was the same interpreter. He goes, no. That other interpreter, he didn't know. This guy knows what he's doing. And I'm just sitting here. You go through the paper and I have to sign my name.
Yeah.
And my name was on everything. And like his excuse was just non-valid immediately, bro. Immediately. So yeah, dude. I played the language game, bro. Fuck yeah.
He's like, wasn't him. He had hair. He had hair.
Yeah.
You're like, I was wearing a hat.
I was wearing a hat. Dude, I play the language game all the time. My wife was
yeah.
like, "What is this woman doing in here? No habla inglés? What? ¿Qué? ¿Cómo?" Like
Mhm.
all the time, bro. It works. It
I play
works.
the hearing game. I didn't hear you. It's way easier.
Teaching a class. Get out. I'm teaching a class.
I do that
It's
in
a private
jujitsu.
lesson.
It's a private. I do that in jujitsu. Like I'll space out sometimes, like when we're going like full guard, right? Okay, we're gonna go over the beginning concepts of full guard. Fuck, okay. And then I'll start like looking, and like my professor Brian knows it. Brian will see me like looking up, and I'll have this like look on my face. It's like, hey, Richard, huh? Yeah, what's up? Like, dude.
He gets like that when he's in full guard.
Or they're in his full guard.
There's only one
It just
person.
lays back.
There's only one person who I have never, ever, ever, and will never be able to pass their guard besides Coyote, and that's my wife.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to tell you, man. She's probably taking private.
It's all of our problems. Your wife. No, I'm just playing. I know you. I can make jokes now.
You can, man. You can, bro. That's just the thing it is. Where do you live again? What was your address?
I'll just give you my gym address. Sign the
Yeah.
waiver, please.
I'm a Rico and it's beeping. Dude, that's always weird to me, the rivalries in jiu-jitsu, like Caio and Bruno, now it's Gordon and Pena and all this other shit. I don't feel like that happened back in the day as often, or maybe I just wasn't aware of it. I know you've been in the scene for a while. Has that always been like it?
My understanding, it was worse because remember, they didn't allow cross training. So team against team, very brutal. They would, I think there was even stories of full on brawls in the tournaments back in the day. Now it's, to my opinion, it's a lot more open. So I'm sorry.
I thought some of that stuff was just hyped up.
It's money. It's money. I mean, Gordon, I think, is taking a little bit from Conor McGregor, right? He sees how much money he made talking shit, and it's working quite well.
I would have said Chael Sonnen, I was gonna say. I thought
no, it's a good reference as well. Yeah, I mean, it works. It works in media. It works in entertainment. I think Gordon does a very good job on it. Actually, he doesn't necessarily lie or anything. He doesn't start the shit, but he has really good rebuttals on it.
My favorite thing was when Pena tried to say that he was, which, dude, when Leandro died, that was huge. Like I remember I always read the news in the morning.
Mhm.
And so happened that day I was like, hey, I'm gonna practice my Portuguese just to cry myself to sleep because my Portuguese is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And the first fucking article was fucking Leandro dead. And I don't know why, dude. Like I just started crying because I'd met him like a few times and nothing crazy, but it was like just to see him and to see the greatness of him.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I started jiu-jitsu, my favorite pass was the Toriando pass. And I remember I have his DP still. And dude, it was wild. That was like a big fucking loss. Like, and Pena, I remember was like, oh, I don't feel good. And he didn't give me time. And then Gordon Ryan doing Gordon Ryan stuff. He goes, actually, it's a text messages between me and him. And even after I got my hand raised, like, bro, it's hard to bullshit people nowadays, especially with social media.
Oh yeah.
It's so hard, dude.
You can't hide anything.
Well, nobody's found my dick pics, so. It got weird all of a sudden.
I had a couple in my head. I'm like,
Danny, I saw Danny looking. He was like, I mean, do I want to throw the dick jokes already? Like,
we just started.
Dude, so I always ask this. What is it that has kept you from like, what is keeping you in jiu-jitsu and everything for that long?
Oh, the art, man. That's my favorite thing in the world. I think it's the best thing anybody can ever do and learn. It's so universal in what it teaches you, what it does for you as a person.
In what sense?
Well, for me, there's a couple different levels that come to it. And let's just go with, say, someone who starts jiu-jitsu generally starts, let's just be honest, most of the time it's for health, right? So you learn how to be healthy, you get a little, you feel better, a little strong. And then now I came from Japanese, so the 7 virtues of Bushido gets instilled within you. And I like the tradition of martial arts. So just the respect that you get, not that people give you, that does happen. Sometimes it's unwarranted, but you just respect life more. You respect people more. You understand you a lot better because you're putting yourself in these situations that they test the shit out of you, man. They're just so testing. And you gotta battle your demons. You gotta battle your fears, and you gotta constantly seek situations that are challenging. And then you also got to know that, I mean, for 99% of us, we're not the top dog. We're never going to be the top dog. And then we're in this, especially as black belts, you're running instructor. You got people in there that are just going to put it to you. And it constantly humbles you to stay true to yourself and not build this false idea of who you are. And I would say outside of that, other than, you know, the respect that you kind of get for yourself and the kindness, hopefully that develops over that, and is the people that you meet. I absolutely love the people that I train with. I love the people I travel with. I love the people that are in this industry who are just such caring and good, honest people. I think majority of us are, and I think majority of us in society are, but for in jiu-jitsu, we really get to know each other, because when I train with you, I can sense so much about you on this mat. I can see what type of person you are. I know what type of trauma you could probably had. I can just feel it. I can feel your energy. I can feel your movements. I can feel your thoughts. You know, and when you've been training for a long time, you can just get a good sense of it. And I'm just very appreciative. I'm very fortunate that I'm in the position that I am. And I'm just very thankful, because I know that if I would have never taken that step and continued in that process, and if I would have gave up, I would be nowhere where I am today. Nowhere would I wouldn't be the person I am today, and I wouldn't be able to affect as many people in this world if I hadn't made that sacrifice. It's an investment. It's never a sacrifice. If I wouldn't have had made that investment to myself and my family and just my community, you know. So it's hard to put in words, but it's easy to put in words, because there's a lot of stuff you can say, but deep down what you feel, unless you're there, I don't think you'll ever truly understand it, you know, because it's just such a powerful way of life if you do it right.
That sounds like a what?
It sounds like a Hallmark card. It's
Shut
really
the
good.
fuck up.
Signed, Danny.
Danny, I appreciate having you, brother. Before we bounce and stick around afterwards, can you tell everybody where they can find you, how they can get in touch with you, and where your gym is at so we can go train?
Yeah. So look at it in Houston, Texas. I'm on the south side of Houston. So if you fly in, say, Hobby Airport, I'm 10 minutes south of it. It's connection of Houston and Pearland, if you're aware of Houston. Website is AllianceBJJHouston.com is my gym website. And it'll be the same for Facebook, same for Instagram. Personal, it's just Danny Duckworth. I think in Instagram is Duckworth Danny. I'm not I'm active, but you know, I travel a lot. Like most of my life, people don't know what I do, but I'm a big traveler. I do a lot of stuff off scenes, and
CIA agent. There it is.
I'm a mercenary, bro.
Danny, thank you so much for being with us, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Say hi to
I've
John.
enjoyed it.